Observation Haki, also known as mantra on Skypea, is a form of Haki that allows the user to sense the presence of others, even if they are concealed from view or too far to see naturally. The user can also use this Haki to predict an opponent's moves shortly before they make them, thereby making the attack much easier to evade with enough skill. This prediction appears to the user as an image or brief premonition of what the opponent will do in the user's mind's eye. After last chapter, we discovered that Katakuri has trained his observation Haki so much that he can see a bit into the future. However, considering the plethora of strong characters we've already seen so far, it's safe to assume that Oda already showed us more of this power. The color of observation is something that has been used throughout the story as far back as Skypea. If we're being honest here, Oda is inconsistent with his placement of it in the story. We don't know when exactly someone is using color of observation in the story. We can only assume that if someone is capable of using it, they will use it during battle or certain situations. Because of this, observation Haki is only noticeable when Oda throws it in our faces, such as his latest example. Charlotte Katakuri, a user so skilled at color of observation that he can see into the future up to a certain extent. The definition of observation in real life can be stretched into many interpretations, but it generally means something like this: an act or instance of perceiving or noticing. In the fictional world that is One Piece, the definition of observation Haki according to Rayleigh is the power to acutely sense an opponent. Oda has stretched far beyond this simple definition, so it's safe to say that the most basic form and definition of observation Haki is the ability to accurately sense an opponent, track their movements, and sense the presence of living things hidden from plain sight. Oda has moved away from the basic concept in some situations with different users. In my humble opinion, I believe users of observation Haki have the potential to craft a unique version of it. What does this mean? Going back to what Rayleigh said, Haki, observation, armament, is something that everyone possesses to a certain degree. However, most people live their life without ever tapping into the full potential of their dormant ability. It's a fact that certain individuals have more potential than others, and when it comes to the extraordinary color of observation skills we've seen in the story so far, I believe that these are unique skills. For example, there's no way in hell that every advanced user of observation Haki will be able to see into the future. Not only would that be lame, it would get played out real quick and it wouldn't be extraordinary anymore. I believe that aside from the basic use of sensing the presence living things, some observation Haki users have the potential to unlock other powerful perception abilities through the color of observation. Here's a few individuals who have shown an advanced, unique, or creative form of observation Haki. Coby unlocked his observation Haki through a trauma he experienced during the Marineford War. He described his perception of living things as voices in his head, and he was hearing them disappear one by one. He says he feels the presence of everyone around him, strongly. Believe it or not, Coby had a head start on Luffy when it comes to observation Haki. He definitely honed his skill over the time skip and is probably an advanced user by now. In fact, according to One Piece Volume 1000, Oda says Coby has advanced greatly in Haki use. In his Haki lecture, Rayleigh also says that most users gravitate toward the color of Haki they are most talented in. It's possible that Coby has focused on color of observation, but that's just my guess. Considering Coby's dream of becoming an admiral will most probably come true, it's possible that Coby will have one of the most advanced forms of observation Haki towards the end of the story. Unique ability: it would be interesting but far-fetched if down the line Coby would be able to identify the living presence of certain individuals several hundred miles by recognizing the voice they give off in his head. For example, if he runs into Luffy and links his living aura to a specific voice in his head, he might be able to hear Luffy's presence from very away. Now, this is not a theory or an explanation, this is just my personal idea. The way Capone reacted to his presence shows that Katakuri separates himself from the rest as far as potential problems are taken into account. His skill of observation is so advanced that he can see slightly into the future. Since his ability isn't completely explained yet, a lot of assumptions can be made about it. For one, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that depending on his speed and quickness, it may be almost impossible to land a hit on him. If the basic ability of observation Haki allows the user to do this, let's be honest here, Oda has never gone out of his way to praise a character's color of observation. Katakuri's mastery of this color of Haki must be one of the best in the series at the moment. If it isn't, well then this is going to get out of control. If Katakuri is fast in combat he may rarely be hit. It's possible that like Cracker, Katakuri may not be used to taking the full force of direct attacks. Anyways, Katakuri's ability to see slightly into the future is similar to Madame Shirley's ability where she can see an event far into the future. These two abilities are similar but are polar opposites in a way. Hopefully these are the only two users of foresight in the series because it would be lame if everyone and their mother could do it. Seeing slightly into the future wanders far off from the basic definition that Rayleigh gave Luffy. Seeing into the future has nothing to do with sensing the presence of living things. It is likely that Oda will stretch and twist the word observation in many ways to give certain characters unique abilities. In fact, seeing into the future has nothing to do with any of the senses. Maybe Katakuri is able to focus his Haki on future events that will take place within a certain range of his specific location. Maybe he has to focus his Haki on one person to look into the future. In my humble opinion, I believe that Katakuri has observation Haki that is greater than that of Big Mom's and possibly one other Yonko. Not one of Whitebeard's division commanders have been praised in Haki like he has. Jack seems to be more of a tank rather than an evasive, perceptive fighter, and we haven't seen the other two calamities. We don't know the extent of the Haki of Shanks' commanders or Blackbeard's commanders. We don't even know the extent of the color of observation when considering the four Yonko. As for what we do know, Katakuri has one of the top color of observation abilities in the series right now. In real life, when a person loses one of his/her senses, the senses that remain are sharpened to a point. One Piece obviously isn't the real world, however I believe this same logic can be applied to Fujitora and his observation Haki. Fujitora blinded himself one day for reasons that are still unknown, but his observation Haki has made up for a lot of what was lost. Through the color of observation he is able to see his surroundings in the form of auras. Fujitora has not shown any unique form of color of observation, but his capability of being a marine admiral while being blind proves that his observation is advanced enough to carry him that far. Enel showed his creativity when using his mantra together with his devil fruit. The man was able to hear conversations going on from miles away. This is my favorite use of observation Haki in the entire series. With his Guro Guro no Mi, Enel was able to use electromagnetic waves across Skypia to tune into conversations across the land, making him omniscient of the events going on in the entire island. Should Enel come back into the story, his observation Haki might be one of the most advanced in the series. Together with his devil fruit, Enel has the potential to dodge virtually any attack and land almost any attack with extreme accuracy. Oda has shown us the basics of observation, extraordinary observation abilities, and observation substituting a lost sense. We are bound to see other users show extraordinary abilities sooner or later. There are quite a few characters left that probably have an advanced form of observation Haki, as well as characters that will one day reach an advanced level. As for characters that I believe might be advanced color of observation users, characters we know of. Here's my list: Ben Beckman, Van Augur, Yassip, Lafitte, Shanks. As for characters I believe will make their way towards the top of the list of color of observation as the story progresses: Sanji, Coby, Usopp, Hawkins, Bonnie, Luffy. Please don't attack me for not mentioning your favorite character. They might specialize and/or be advanced at another form of Haki. Possible future abilities? Once again, these aren't theories, they're just my regular ideas. 1. Sensing the weakness of the enemy through observation. Similar to what Chopper used to do pre-time skip, what if a unique form of observation allows the user to identify the enemy's weak spot? 2. Hearing what's going on inside someone's mind. Coby was able to identify the auras of living things by connecting them to voices in his head. What if another unique form of observation Haki allows the user to read the mind of the opponent to a certain extent? 3. Hide one's own living presence. What if a user can hide their living aura to become virtually undetectable to other users? Sounds too out of bounds, but so is looking into the future, and the minks kind of already do this.
Gum gum no!